Hey, what's going on, guys? KillerMiller here, and today I'm going to bring you guys a video on a Brax review. And Brax was actually the original player I wanted to do this on. I ended up doing 10s, which that video actually did really well, so thank you guys so much for enjoying that. And I guess everybody seemed to enjoy what I did, so I figured I'd bring you guys another one. And like I said, I really wanted to do Brax in the first place, because I think he's got a pretty good overall play style. And it'd be a lot of fun to break down and, like, be able to see what he does and why he does it. And so that's what we're doing here. And then I ended up choosing this game. Obviously, between this whole stream, there's a lot of different games you could pick. I went with this one because I wanted to pick whenever he played a more supportive agent. And right, you see him playing Sage. And the reason I went mainly because the last one, which was on 10s, I did Jet, which these champions or agents, excuse me, are the complete opposite. So I figured it'd be good to give it a little bit of a twist and to throw this in there. So yeah, let's jump right into it. I think first thing to notice here, notice they're playing 3-2. They're playing 3v2a. Now typically you do only keep 2-1b and 3a mainly because of Cypher and his power too slow. But I think the main reason they did that is because of the way these two champions have good unison together. I think Viper is highly underrated, and not only is she just underrated in general, she's pretty good on this map because she has a really good one-way through mid, which allows her to hold mid really well, and then Sage with her wall and double slow, which obviously you're not always going to have it, but, double slow, whatever you might have is also really good. So I think that's a reason why they're doing this, and mainly for the pistol round, because it's really easy to slow pistol round because a lot of the enemies have, they have less, excuse me, the world just happened, okay. Sorry, my Discord just freaked out. But they have less utility on pistol rounds. So, but anyway, let's jump into it. Let's just kind of try and break down what happens. So they're pretty much just playing the default here. A lot of what he's trying to do here is play for info, and just obviously hold angles, of course. But with the way the round is playing out, you see the way he's kind of playing this really weird style, and a lot of that is because he gets to call out that they're pushing B. And so that's why you see him rotate quickly, and then they also get the early presence there. So good rotate by him to be able to get here quickly. His entire team dies, so now he's in a really rough spot. Not too much he could have done here to get here quicker. Let's just see how the rest of this goes. Good of him to play around the smokes, be able to get him a nice slow in there. So if a player is playing long, he can see he'll be able to slow them down. So whenever the smoke and cage does fade, he has a better opportunity, because it's going to be less likely that an enemy will be standing in the slow. I think the reason he jumped there, so I actually think this is a bad idea. I think he did that because he wanted to be able to see over the smoke. Let's see if we can get a vision of it. I don't think he ended up doing that, but I think that's why he did it. I think he maybe thought he could maybe catch a snippet of him in hookah. I guess. Like I said, I don't really know. I think this is pretty bad because it gives away his position, and that's exactly what happened. The breach decided to fly through the smoke here. Obviously, he ended up getting the kill, which was good. So the breach got a little too aggro here, but it did make this situation really scary. Like I said, I think that's why he wanted to do that. So the idea, I think, was okay. The execution wasn't quite there. He didn't do that quite properly. But now he's in a 3v1. He's in a really weird spot. The enemies know where he's at. He has no idea where they are. He's just gonna try to make something happen. So he'll probably eventually just kind of fling out here and try and go for frags. And yeah, he ended up dying. So not too much he could have done this round. They played 3B and they still ended up losing the site. Like I said, maybe the jump there wasn't quite the best idea. It's possible he could have communicated with Hiko better here on how to play everything. But like I said, retaking a 3v1 with pistol, there's only so much you can do. So not too much, not too bad there. Looks like it's gonna be a light buy out of them. I'm not sure why they're running around and spawn for. I'm assuming they're trying to decide on how to play the round out. That's my guess. Which is why we see them running around in the spawn quite a bit. So once again, he hears the B call, which I'm assuming he hears it. Obviously, there's always comms going on in this elo. Plus, I think he's actually queued with some of the players he's with. And you also can just look at the map and see everybody showing up. Spike actually did show at a certain point here, so now he knows that they're coming this way. Trying to get some good tag shots off. Only so much he can do here once again. Running back to A. I'm assuming they took teleporter. based on that. If that's the case, they should have bombed down here in a second. Okay, so yeah, they do end up coming out. They did indeed take their teleporter. The rotation back is fine. This map's kind of bad. I enjoy playing it because it's fun to play, but I think the design is not good. So notice how Brax holds this angle here. This is what I like. Brax actually is I don't want to say he didn't invent this style of holding of crosshair placement, but I know he is a big connoisseur, if you will, of it. Notice how when he holds the angle, I hate that this play button's in the way. We could put it in super slow motion just so we can make it obvious to see. Notice how when he holds the angle, he's not holding it super tight right here. He's holding it close left. And he's doing that because whenever he knows what his reaction time is. He knows if he holds super tight right here, he's not going to be able to react in time. And so because of that, he's holding left. And so if they swing out, it's an easy shot for him, which is exactly what we see happen. And where instead, notice when he reacts here. Let's speed it back up. Notice how he does not react until right there. Do you see right when I paused when he moved his crosshair? That's when he reacted. And so that's how he was able to line up the shot. Whereas instead, if he had his crosshair right here, he wouldn't have been able to react. He would have had to flick back to the enemy, and that makes that's an all more difficult shot. Now, obviously, you want to this flick is very, very tiny, going from here to here. It's not like it's a very hard adjustment, but completely eliminating any adjustment at all is the ideal scenario, and that's what Brax does super well, which is why he's able to pick up a lot of easy kills. And obviously, if he had the proper gun here, he would have got this kill on the enemy. Obviously, he just had a pistol. It's a save round, you know, all this stuff. But that is one important thing to note, and you'll see how he holds angles a lot like this throughout all of his games. I just wanted to go ahead and point it out here. And then obviously he kind of goes for the repeat. Same scenario. He's holding the middle now because they could peek from right or left side, and it gives him good leeway for both. Because if they peek from this side and they cross over, it's easy reaction time for him. And then same thing with the left or the right side, excuse me. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. The Brimstone actually ended up just backing up. Like I said, there's only so much he could do there. The Brimstone would have been dead actually if he had a gun there. So it's okay. Not too bad of a round. Let's just keep on looking through it. Now he's finally at a gun round. To get a cheeky wall this. No, he doesn't. So notice because of the way they're playing B, I'm assuming they know that the enemy team wants to push B a lot, which is why they're keeping 2A. And also, like I said, the Viper Sage hold is very, very powerful. And which is why you see him just jump spotting here. Because all he has to do is get the information that they're there. He can slow it, and then he can call for a rotate. And then all Hiko has to do, which Hiko's the Viper. So I guess all Viper would have to do is prevent them from getting up mid with all of her pretty solid utility. They can both slow down the path and push together, which would cause a rotate over quickly, which could equal into a pretty good slow. So that's why they're keeping these 2A. And then notice his rotate here. He would have probably pushed into sight by this point, but obviously he's mollied off, so he can't. He's just looking for a good opportunity to get his utility down. He can't see, which is why he didn't throw that, but he decided to throw it anyways, and then it didn't work out. So once again, we're kind of in a weird spot here now. They are in the advantageous situation, and we'll get to that. But this is one of those games where it's kind of annoying to VOD review. Not annoying, but like these are just annoying to play as too, because you have to you're always rotating over, so you can never really feel like you're getting a good amount of kills and stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yep, just walks around. Pretty basic. I think this is bad by the Brimstone here. He's confident that this player is not in these spots, which is why he just kind of free walks past them. Plus they hear the bomb plant. He was over halfway through the animation at that point, so yeah, pretty much walk up, free kill, nothing big. All right, we're gonna skip ahead here a little bit because there's been a lot of nonsense going on. Let's try and get to some good stuff. Okay, see, now this is an example. He sees that the Raze bot's out. He's jumping for info. This leaves him in a spot where it's almost impossible for him to get killed here, but he gets the information for it, which is why you see him jumping like this. Which keeps happening. One of the champions does actually spot him right here, and you see them take some pot shots at him to see if he possibly gets tagged, which is why he decides to use his slow, and that's going to potentially call over for a rotate. Now, I don't think they're going to quite yet rotate because, like I said, they have such a good synergy. This is enough to slow them down. Plus, they don't have enough information. This could very easily just be a alert from the Raze player, which, yeah, that could definitely be a lurk from the race player because the enemy team has a good entry fragger with breach. So if they decided to just push forward a site and try and put one over here to stall out the Sage and Viper, which I don't know if that's going to end up happening, but it might. Yeah, and it looks like that is kind of what happens. They still have the entry player. So now he puts himself. This is just a good little. This is a good angle in general because it's going to catch the enemy off guard. They're just not going to clear this. Nobody will because they're just not ready for it. And so this is good for him because notice how, based on how the enemy would be peeking at this point, whenever he sees them, they would be clearing CT where he was standing earlier. So like right in this area, hard to point it out with the mouse. And so because of that, this is a really good angle because it should pretty much always be a free kill. And he still has, keep in mind, he still has one slow in order to slow down the enemy. So if they do decide to fly out, then he has enough to stop them. I actually want to see if they teleport here.
Pushing up. Backing up. Backing up.
I'm holding showers for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gets the comm that they think they're falling off. I think, yeah, okay. So I think this comm is incorrect because either this player once again is now lurking for the bait kind of a play, which probably isn't what's happening, and so I think the Cypher might rotate back. Yeah, and the reason I say that is because the reason I say he might be doing like a lurk play here is they pulled pressure towards B, and then they're gonna go back, and he's gonna try and since they would go back, it would pull the rotation off from a CT, which is what we saw, the Cypher coming back. Now that he gets to kill, it pulls the Cypher back. The only reason I don't think they rotate more is because obviously they're just not in a spot to, rotate everybody else. If Sage goes, then Viper's alone, and vice versa. And also keep in mind that Phoenix is pushed up here, and Brax probably keeps note of this. Like I said, at this point, he's staying here not because of Phoenix pushing up, because of the fact that it is 4v5 and they need to keep 2 and 2 on site. But that is something that could be going through his head, and I just wanted to kind of point that out. So yeah, we'll see them keep playing the round out. And now Phoenix gets the information that they're going back to B, and now he rotates. So yeah, you could argue, sure, and then also they get ulted. You could argue, sure, he should have rotated once the breach was there, but that's not the real reason because, like I said, that breach could have just been lurking and delaying for these two players. And so yeah, they end up going over to B, and he looks like they're going to be in a really rough spot to win this round. It's 2v5 retake, very hard to do, especially on the B site. Once again, notice how he holds the angle. This is really important. Slow it down again. I wish I could move the pause button. If there's a way, let me know, please. He's holding it out to the right. Oh, let's see if it'll jump ahead and do it. He even peeks his angles out to the right like that, as you know. He puts his crosshair there. Obviously, he ends up moving because of the ability. And notice, like I said, he's holding out to the right. So if she peeks, he either has to click mouse 1 or he has a very small adjustment to go to her, which is what you'll see happen right here. Exactly. He peeks out. The adjustment is tiny for him, and he just makes it really fast and gets the shot off. Whereas if he was holding tight, that adjustment's a little bit tougher to make. Obviously, that stuff's really small, but that does add up over time. Then end up just losing this round out. So, like I said, we're 13 minutes in already. We're gonna try and jump ahead through a lot of this. A lot of the same things here. They're just taking it slow, playing for info. They get no info. They see 2 along, so they're gonna go ahead and early rotate. Now, obviously, they were gonna both rotate. But it's a little too risky to do that, and so that's why Hiko decides to go Heaven. Heaven's a pretty good anchor spot because you have quick rotation over to B, but you also have full info of the site. So if somebody maybe wants to sneak up, whatever the case may be, he has a good spot to be able to spot them, and all he has to do then is delay with his kit and allow his team to rotate. So that's what happens there. And so now that these players have bomb long, they can hold long push, and then Brax can pick up the hookah play, which is exactly what happens. Able to keep skipping through the round some. Oh yeah, they just keep killing everybody long, and he just gets up behind them. Oh snap, he dies. Okay. He gets vision of the brimstone. He just decides to run around. So I guess the only way he gets, you see how surprised he is. This is a really good shot with the brimstone. The only thing he really could have done differently here is maybe walk it all the way. Just the reason he didn't is notice that these players were going to be pushing this together, but the Jet decided to dash out, which would have kept him focused on her, and then he was already up, and so he had to take the 1v1 fight. And like I said, really good shot with the brimstone there. And then obviously they have the way their position. It's okay for him to go for this because Hiko is right behind them. He can go straight up for the trade. Now it was kind of micro where yes, this was technically 1v1s, technically 1v1 right here. But like I said, based on how the round was playing out, the way Jet's holding him, if Brimstone peeks into her, which is exactly what happens, she falls back and Hiko gets the free kill. And that's exactly what happens here. So this is me just kind of pointing out how high level trading works. This isn't even really high level. You can do this in your games really easily. So yeah, the same exact setup they have going on. He's just playing for info. Nothing happens. They see a lot go B, so he decides to rotate. So we could talk about retakes, but like I said, retakes are very, very difficult on B because everything is so just. This is the way out. This is a very small gap. You throw a Sage slow, you can use any abilities here, right? And you can also, the only other place to go. Obviously, you could be behind them, but because of the fact of the way the rounds are playing out, they have to go CT. They can't really flank. And so, yeah, it's there's too many small choke points for them to get out of. So they pretty much, it's almost impossible to win this, or it's at least very difficult. Very bad angle by the breach there. I respect his off angle, but he probably looked at his minimap, honestly. Yeah, because he just didn't react. His reaction time, there's no way his reaction time is this bad. I mean, it's a decent angle because the off angle is kind of what you want in a 1vx situation, because it's a free kill typically, but like I said, he just didn't react. But anyways, we're here for Brax, so obviously you at this point you have to peek eventually, so goodbye him. He goes to slow the back haul, he goes to slow hookah, and that allows him to get a free resurrection on his teammate. He's actually kind of in the wall a little bit. Yeah, they're pretty much just playing it slow, playing for info, making sure people are not anywhere. So one place they could have gone is back halls here. It would have been very easy for them to push around by now. And then once his teammate gets onto site, Hiko, now they have to be worried about backcalls. So this is what he's watching. Hiko probably picks up on that. And so yeah, cool. So they bait out the defuse. They now know both are long. Can't win around. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, obviously he just keeps holding it. He's still worried about that angle, but he once there gets to a certain point where he would have peaked by now, especially because of the fact he ulted, he's probably just playing alongside. So yeah, and then Mo ends up dying. Mo got a little too aggressive there. Hiko ends up dying. Yeah, I think Hiko tried to take a fright. That's okay. A really good shot by him. And yeah, he just ends up. I mean, there's not much you can do here. The only thing I would say is maybe get in there faster, but because they got ulted, they just can't. That's why they tried to fake it. They tried to bait him out the push, and then all Brimstone had to do is ult. And yeah, they lost the round because of it. So that's okay. Not bad by him once again. Not too much he can do there, really. So because of the fact they're just pummeling them at B, notice how now they're just kind of stacking it. So he goes for the wall here, and the reason he does this is because this excuse me, this puts the 2 in hookah at a really good crossfire. I think that's also because they're ego here, which is why they decided to stack it. So it puts them at a crossfire, and then it puts him, a Jet, at a crossfire, allowing for, in theory, pretty easy kills. And we'll just kind of see how this round plays out. Okay, let's see what happened here. He ends up falling off because he knows a lot can be long. Okay. I think it'd be beneficial for him here to slow. Actually, no, his teammate's pushing us, so never mind. Just disagree with that. So these two players didn't, or the Jet and Brax didn't actually set up any sort of unison here. Now, obviously, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're not communicating, if he's just not playing it smart, whatever the case may be. But because of that, there ended up being a 1v1 and then another 1v1, and that ended up losing them the fights. Whereas instead, I think if Jet plays back, knowing that he is CT, or not CT, knowing he's under hookah, this allows for a really good crossfire for them too. But instead, she goes for the fight there. ends up losing it, and then now he's at a bad spot. So I think it would have been beneficial for him to just run straight to site. Obviously, he needs to clear it just in case they're holding him. But the spot he's in, he's pretty much in a one and done. Like, even if he kills the Sage here, it's very likely that one of the other players, if there is somebody behind her, which is also likely because they're going B and they have 5, nobody's dead yet, is right behind her, and then she can get the kills. So I think it'd be better for him to just cross site here or stay under here. Stay up under hookah, because that would also put him in, even though it's kind of a bad spot, it's better than being out in the open. At least he has a little bit of cover. And so yeah, because of that, he ends up losing the fight. So this is the big problems on Jet's part, and so he's just kind of in a bad spot. But I also think it would have been much smarter for him to just either get straight to site or, like I said, play under hookah. But instead they ended up dying. Once again, it was like a light buy, so it's not too bad. But it would have been good for them to do that. Alright, so it's going to be Abe here. Once again, big emphasis on the fact that they're playing the 4B because their B hold has been pretty atrocious so far. So this is actually, I really like this play by him. Notice how, this is a good thing that people start to do at high levels. Notice how he's going to try and catch the breach off guard by pushing past his stun. Because more than likely the breach is stunning this area. You know, the A long hallway. Not hallway, but like the gap, basically the gap to get into garden right here, the connecting point between those two. And notice he pushes past that, so this catches the breach off guard, which is exactly what happens here. Now obviously breach did pre-aim it because he might as well, but he still wasn't fully ready. And so this is good by him, I think. Now obviously it is risky because it puts him in a scary spot if he doesn't get the kill, which is what happened. So this is one of those high risk, high reward plays, and I think the reason they go for that is because with the Sage utility, they are allowed to go for stuff like this because they can just boost, they can just wall it off and rotate, wall it up, put her in a better spot, and the fact they have 4B, so they have a better position to go for risky plays like this. Once again, breach is expecting it, and yeah, he ends up dying. Let me think here. Let's watch it back up. So I think he should have prioritized getting out because he definitely knows there's 2. Let's see right here. He knows there's 2. He sees 2 question marks, potentially even more. And notice whenever her Jet throws the smoke here, they can't help him. So him peeking here, he's peeking into 2 players with no retaliation by his teammates because they just can't do anything. This is actually bad by him. Once again, he's going for the high risk, high reward play, but he's already done that and they know he's here. And once he's walled up, there's nothing else for this breach to do except for to watch up here. And mainly because this little front thing is smoked off, that the one gap that he have. Now, obviously, the smoke does not last long at all. So if anything, he either needs to, I think, cross with the Jet smoke in order to get out safely because they end up just going up and just killing him. Or he either cross with the Jet smoke safely, or I think the smart play would be to wait for the smoke to fade out and then maybe peek then, because that would allow his teammates to peek alongside him. And so even if the breach were to kill him here, right there, notice how he's on the left side wall, and because of that gap, the Phoenix and or Jet could have picked up the trade on him. Or he could have waited for the Phoenix flash. There's a lot of different things he could have done here, but this is just, I don't think this is the right play. Notice now they did get caught off guard by the Sage wall, but that is something that just kind of needs to be in the back of their heads. So this is a mistake by him for sure. I think the biggest thing to take away here is whenever you go for high risk, high reward, you do have to think about what's going to happen after. And what I mean by that is he kind of knew that he was going to put himself in a bad spot, but there were ways to get out. And I think that's important because, like I said, when you go for high risk, high reward, it's not necessarily high risk, like a complete risk, like where you just like, you know, if you don't get if you don't end up working out what you wanted to go for this sneaky play on the breach there, then you just lose. So I think it would have, there definitely is potential for him to have gotten out here, essentially, is what I mean by that. That might not have made a whole lot of sense, but yeah. And then Crosby CS just aces their whole team. So yeah, pretty bad play there by him, but I think it's important to note why he did it. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think his reasoning was necessarily really bad. I think he had the right idea. He just didn't end up executing it out properly. As in, he just made, there's a few things he could have done smarter there. He just didn't necessarily do. So know that they're now playing 4 more at B. I mean, is Viper better than Sage there? Maybe. It's hard to say. I would actually probably say no, but because Viper has more delay, I don't want to say more delay, but she has more consistent delay because you can throw her smoke down, you can use it, and then you can use it, you know, once it runs out, you can just, after a few, you know, X amount of seconds, you can just use it again. Whereas, you know, Sage only has 2 slows or 1 wall. So I think that's why they're doing it, because they're just literally aren't playing A, which is why he literally just has his knife out here. Like, he is very confident the fact that they just aren't here, which, you know, not necessarily the smartest thing, but of course, like I said, he's just expecting them to not be here. Now notice it looks like they do end up coming A, and it's a good thing that he ended up staying, because you always do have to keep one person on the other site. And so yeah, he was probably thinking about rotating, but he ended up not. And so he used this cheeky wall. This is really good. Yeah, this is really good play by him. This is one, again, this isn't really high risk because this is going to catch them off guard. And he clearly knows the crosshair placement because of where he's putting his crosshair. He clearly knows they're going to cross here. So they do seem ready for it. So I guess it is more high risk, but I still think this is good because of the fact that you're in a spot where you kind of have to make a play, because once they get post plant and you're down a man, you're in a really scary spot. So he goes for a play and it works out in his favor, and he should have taken some damage there. But yeah, good by him. Oh gosh. Okay, let's see. I really like this idea. It would have probably worked out even better if he had a real gun. I'm assuming she blast packs over, which is why you see him look back really fast, and then she ends up killing him. I got caught off guard by that, which is okay. Once again, this is kind of goes back to the exact same situation where it's like you're going for high risk, high reward, which is what the Rays did, and it worked out in her favor. And that was also just really smart by her in general, because she knows that he is at a disadvantage with the gun he has, that she has the better weapon, and she probably would catch him off guard, which is what happened. So it's good by her. But like I said, that was also really good by Brax. I think it is possible that he maybe could have been. I will say he maybe could have used his utility a little better, because once they smoke off here, it's very like this is the bread and butter strat for bind. You double smoke up here. You can use this one to cut off heaven or triple it, whatever, and you just wall right here, and then you just get a free plant. So the slow here, I don't want to say it's useless, but the likelihood of them coming bathroom compared to them going through mid is way higher. So I think it'd be better for him to use that there and then wall up, because that would potentially put them in an even worse spot. And then yeah, he gets these kills, and then yeah. Anyway, so just something else to add to that round. So using the Phoenix for what's it called? Just for information, really. Notice how he is looking towards long here, because there's no way that these players could have been pushed up short yet, because Phoenix just cleared it. But here in a few seconds, they could be. So he calls the long push. Actually, I think he just hears her push up. But I think he would have looked over here anyways. And then, yeah, he goes for the kill, which is good. Once again, the same crosshair placement. He does it even with an op. Here he holds it tight just because of the way the angle is. But same thing. Getting the wall up to get a good position on them, because he knows the majority of them are back up this, whatever this call out's called. I don't even know. I don't know. Anyways, there are a lot of them are back in this back hallway, and you even see that because of the question mark. So he puts himself in an even better spot to go for a pretty free kill, which nothing ends up happening. So he's going to rotate over. So now it's a 4v2 because they get the, or not, it's 3v2, I guess, because he gets the res off, which is good. He's just pre-aiming everything. Pretty normal. Letting the entry, this is important because of the way because of how important his champion is, or agent, excuse me, is, because of how her util is. He lets the entry go first. Plus, she has all of her, she has her ult out, which means she can really go crazy because she can just jump up and still be accurate. So he's letting her go first, letting her play for the information, and then go from there. Which is why you see him in it posting up. So this is something you'll notice a lot of high-level players do, mainly with the op, is they trust their aim so much. He doesn't know which one to aim. You'll see how he aims here, then here. So he just goes to the middle. And the reason he does this is because he's confident enough in his shot where if he peeks right side, he can flick. If he peeks left side, he can flick. And this decreases the amount of I guess flickage, if that's the word you would use, he has to do. Because if he's holding this angle and he peeks over here, that's a very far. If you're going from here to here is big, but this is literally half that. And so that's what he's doing here. He ends up playing differently. Once again, using his utility to slow them, just in case they're potentially in heaven. Once again, using it even more. Playing around Brimstone ult. They got the thing to half. So now he's just holding angles, expecting them to play, and then they didn't. The Phoenix ends up getting the kill onto him there. Yeah, he didn't need to do this, but I think he just got a little scared at the time, and also was just kind of trolling, so that's fine. The Phoenix, what's his name, picks up the op, no big deal. So yeah, all right. Anyways, once again, just very Brax. Based on what I'm seeing, Brax likes to play very, like, I don't want to say sneakily, but he likes to play in spots that the enemies are really not expecting him, at least so far. Because it can net a lot of free kills, and I think this is important to note because in some situations it has netted him free kills, and then one of those examples was when he walled up on top of the truck and he got the free kill on the whatever age it was. But then you can also see how this can go downhill whenever he was trying to make the play against the breach here, when he tried to push past this thing to catch him off guard a little there. So I'm not trying to say that Brax is just fully playing around catching the enemy off guard, but it does seem like a big part of his playstyle, which is good. Or it's not. I don't say good. It's not necessarily bad. It's just unique. It's what makes him him. You know, this is Brax. This is what he's good for. His aim is really good. And so it allows himself to put him in these spots where he can not only take an unfair aim duel, but the enemy just probably wouldn't anyways because of how good his aim is. And so yeah, basically that's just something that I've noticed so far on his CT side. Ooh, this is bold. Let's see here. Notice how he's clearing these angles, which is good. I'm trying to think. I mean, this was a good play, but I'm trying to point out some of the small things that could be scary here. I mean, I think the biggest one is when he cleared this angle. Notice how he cleared this one a little. Okay, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Never mind. He went pretty wide on that. I was just about to add, if you clears this a little too slow, then the Cypher would get vision of him first before he even knows it, and he could die there. But that's not what happened, so that's okay. Good play by him. Going for the plays long once again. Notice how he sees the Phoenix pushed up here, so that cuts off at least the very early parts of this. The only place they could be is out of Phoenix's line of sight, which you can see is literally past this line right here, which is why he first clears this and then keeps on clearing the rest from there. And he has an op, so if the enemy also, depending on what gun the enemy has, he could just outgun them. So the breach decides to go crazy here and peek into him, which he just misses, and then he ends up picking the kill up on him. Could have been scary, but because of the way that I think the round went, I think this is okay. It's hard to say though, because he could have died here, and him dying here would be really bad because of his sage, and he has heals and all that stuff. So this is, I do want to lean more towards the fact that this is bad because he couldn't easily get killed by the breach here, because to be fair, he wasn't fully expecting the breach to peak. He was expecting the breach to be holding it, but I don't think he was expecting him to peak, which is what happened. And so he could have died here, which would put them in an even spot. It would be 4v4. And then they could be down a sage. So this is actually kind of bad. There's really not too much need to do this, because this spot right here by Phoenix is so powerful because it literally cuts off so much of the map. The only things you have to worry about are long and then this entire backside. And because you only really have to worry about long, I think it'd be beneficial for him to post up here with the op and just hold an angle instead of pushing into a potentially dangerous one, and have maybe either Jet or Cypher play in hookah and not even really hold an angle. Play in hookah and wait to play off of contact, because if he plays long, they can't really come from long, and all they can really, I mean, they could swing around this really close corner, but the Phoenix would be holding that angle, and it could be a free kill. And if they go to trade the Phoenix, that's what the Jet would be there for. So if they came out hookah, the Jet could trade him there, and that would allow the Cypher, which the reason I'm saying Jet here and Cypher there, that's just the most beneficial way to do it. But either or works, either agent really. That would allow the other agent, which like I said would be Cypher, to rotate to A, and then they would be in a really good spot. So this is really a powerful spot by Phoenix, by any agent essentially, but just because it's Phoenix there right now. So this peak is really scary. And see, that's what happens here. If he could have died here, and then notice Phoenix instantly died. Whereas if Jet was played up in hookah, as Phoenix died, she could have gotten that trade frag instantly, and he, like I said, and then they would be back to a better spot, which they, like I said, they already are in a good spot. But because he could have died here, because the peak was really risky, It made it scary. So this is a good wall. Catches the Cypher off guard. Once again, using his tricks to his advantage. He is confident that they are not coming along, which is why he does this. He also has the Cypher behind him to hold his long push, so he does not have to worry about that, and he gets a 3 kill. So anyways, we'll skip through, like I said, a little bit more of this because it's 30 minutes in, and I don't want to make this too long. But that was something really important to note. That was a little more advanced team play than anything, than it was be like Brax specifically. But yeah, so this is another, I love doing things like this. Catch people off guard based on their utility usage, or based on their bad utility. So not that this Ray's nade was necessarily bad, but she was not expecting him to push up. Most players would see this nade and be scared and run away. But instead, he was like thinking, okay, she's not going to be expecting me to be here, which is exactly what happened. Notice how she's not looking anywhere near him, and it's a very free kill. Oh, excuse me, very free kill for him. I really like doing stuff like this, playing around the enemy's utility and catching them off guard through it, which is a great example of him doing that there. Then based on rotations, whatever, we're gonna get more to. Okay, so anyways, yeah, pretty good round by him. Good half overall because a lot of these rounds he had to rotate and he still was able to pick up kills. So yeah, really good half by him. Few small mistakes, but a lot of them had to do with the way he was playing, or just getting a little too antsy, or getting a little too what's the word? I guess risky, if you were to use that one. So yeah, not too bad. This looks like a strat that they're doing. Okay, let me think. I'm assuming this is coordinated because nobody in their right mind would run across like this. He should definitely get his gun out here. Like I said, there's a clear strategy behind this. And I think that strategy was, oh, there's a Sage running across. Let me shoot her, and then his teammates pick up the frag if they go for it, which I don't think he wasn't spotted by this Ray, so it's not directly what happened, but this is clearly something that they're trying to run because he wouldn't just do this for the heck of it. So that's, whatever. I'll let that go because I don't know what they're trying to run. I can critique that all day, but that's not what we're here for. So yeah, he needs to. I mean, that's okay. Good crosshair placement by him. He needs to set up this wall quicker because that is potential for them to peek CT. And he also kind of blocked off his feet. Well, that's okay. That part's okay because it ends up getting them in a safer spot for a plant. He just say he's waiting to plant because I think he's waiting to get a little bit more information. That sort of thing. No big deal. See here. Good reactions by him. They're starting to get to the point where things are getting scary. The enemy's using a lot of their util to clear them out, and so he decides to fall back to bathroom here because that's what it's planted for. Plus, an enemy just died here. Post up on the angle, same way he always holds angles, a little wide, which is just a him thing, and I love holding them that way also. And then yeah, I think the peek here is a little unnecessary. It's the end of the day. Yeah, he doesn't know where they are, and it's very likely that they are holding him here because Cypher is playing. It's not like Cypher's in U-Haul. His teammate Cypher. He does not have any of this mid space cleared, and so they could be here. And instead, I think it's good for him to wait and play with his team here because what happened is they just took the 1v, or they took the 2v1 essentially, and now it's just 1v2. Whereas he could have very easily prevented that. So this was bad. I think he just goes a little slower here, and that would be fine. So yeah, we'll just keep going through it. No big deal. Jumping for info, that's fine. Nothing big there. This is good by him letting the jet entry. He slows the CT. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think he could have actually fallen back at the hook here. I don't think he had to quite yet jump. Maybe he just got caught off guard. Maybe he was. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think he reacted in time. Notice the second he fell out the window is when he reacted to fall back. He does what he can, so that's okay. I don't think this is too bad because it was a little bit of timing, and it's not that that stuff is preventable, but just the way it worked out, it's okay. So let's keep on going. They're letting his team make noise. So I think the reason they're going slow here is because they want to let his teammates make enough noise to pull the player off of long, potentially back into sight, so long is actually free for them. And which is kind of what happens here, because notice the cipher. Well, I guess we don't know who's here right now. And they flash out. He lets this is big. He's letting his entries do their role. So this is really important. If based on the agent you're playing, you don't always have to be the entry. You can let your teammates go first, which is exactly what happens here. He almost because some people would be like, oh, look at Brax baiting. It's like, no, he's not. He's letting his team's doing what they're supposed to do. He even walls him off, which is going to potentially catch them off guard. Yeah, I think the wall there is fine because it gets them. They get enough info through Phoenix. Let's see. Plus the Phoenix. Plus, I mean, Phoenix was already committed here. Sure, he could have maybe saved the wall because he would want to retreat, but like I said, he was already committed there, so I think he just went ahead and did it for safety issues. Plus, like I said, it could have potentially caught them off guard based on how the Phoenix would have played this when they see it's walled and then all of a sudden there's somebody holding it right behind it. So that part's fine. I don't want to talk too much about that. Good kill by him here. Like I said, notice how he holds his angles. Really important. Leads to so many free kills. He's not holding it tight, he's holding it wide. Which means whenever the breach comes around the corner, he literally clicks. That's it. Boom. Perfect. He didn't have to move his mouse at all. Obviously, he ended up moving it a little bit because he strafed back and all that good stuff. But this is why I really love the way he plays. I love the way he holds angles. The way he takes fights. It's really methodical and has a lot of use to it if done right. And it basically just makes everything just logical, really. So, yeah. So good play by him to actually walk other around. I think Ray should have expected him here, but that's besides the point. Because I think the reason he ends up coming all the way around because he knows that she's probably going to be waiting for him over there, which is what happens. So it's free kill for him. So good play by him. Good round overall. The only questionable thing might have been the wall, but I don't think it's just a question. Well, I guess it is questionable, but I think it was good because, like I said, the Phoenix already committed to the fight. Once again, like as other players take the entry fights, Sage is the most important. Cypher also, it's debatable between which of these two agents, based on their team comp, is more useful in post plant. But regardless, it's fine. He's letting them entry, and regardless of who the agent is, the fact of the matter is the Cypher decided to go in regardless. So maybe we could sit here and argue all day. Should Brax have gone in first and kept the Cypher alive? Maybe. I don't know. The point is the Cypher decided to go in, so now he's technically the entry, so he needs to play around that, which is what he does. He backs up his angles. He clears all the big stuff. He backs up all the other angles that they could be playing, and that he just kind of glance past. I don't want to talk too much about entry fragging, but it is important to note that. We'll skip through the rest of the round, and then the Raze just saves. Well, I guess he plays a back angle to try and get an exit, but that's fine. So good. I don't know how that blinded him, actually. That was weird. Once again, going behind his entry fragger here, really good by him, really good by his team. This is stuff you can do in your games. You don't even have to have... and this is what I mean by playing around your team. A lot of people will complain, yo, my team is bad. They're doing this stupid. It's like, well, dude, just let them go first. Let them be the entry, and you can just pick up the kills behind them, and then you're good. Because depending on who you're playing, that should be their job anyways. So now they're in a really weird spot. So they need to... Oh, he should have healed the Viper there, but that's okay. Not gonna talk. That's nitpicky. Same thing. You notice how he holds the angle. Let me think here. The reason why he's ended up going really slow here is because he has ult. So theoretically, he should be right behind the Viper in order to get the trade frag, but he doesn't need to. His trade frag is literally his ult. And notice how maybe he should be. I think he should have been more prepared to peek with him here. But the reason he ends up swinging is because he just ulted, so his gun's not going to be right back out immediately. What the timing kind of made it where it was, but he was caught off guard a little bit. And so yeah, he's able to go for that kill and get the ult off. So good play by him. Play around your. This is good for you Sage players out there. Play around your ult really a lot. You can literally tell your teammates, "I have ult. Just go crazy. Just go in there and try and make something happen," which is what happens. And they ended up getting to play. Now I think they ended up losing the round because they just don't plant. Let's see actually. Okay, so they just got ulted off the bomb. So that's fine, but obviously the time just ended up running out. But that was a good little synergy play right there. He's wary of the angle that they are playing. So they have vision that there's 2 CT, and he's very yeah. There's also one Cubby. I think they just saw the shots there. These two are dueling, so he's trying to pick up the kill, and then he gets worried about the Cypher, which is why you see him like jiggle here and like kind of freak out. He's like, oh shoot. Ends up going for him because he knows that he is focused on their long player, which is a free kill. Instead of going for the Cypher, and that would be 2 1v1s, but instead he made it a 2v1. Then he peeks into the other enemy, which is good. Gets the dink off. Big play, which is big by him. Once again, just holding the right angles, playing things smart. Okay, I was about to say, I don't. Oh gosh. Okay. You can see what he was going for here. I think he was looking to wall off right in front of him, but I don't actually know. This is definitely risky. This is definitely bad. I think he just plants the bomb because what's gonna happen is even if the breach decides to push him and kill him, the Phoenix picks it up. So yeah, this is a bad peek. Which you can clearly tell he knows that because of how he like reacted. And this is also an important thing, not to zone in on your ability usage too hard. He also knew that the breach was probably holding it because not only he just blinded the corner. And that being said, the Phoenix is blind, so he couldn't even trade him. So don't zone in on your ability usage too much. He really, really wanted to wall that, which would be a good wall, but that doesn't matter if you just peek and die. So yeah, this is bad by him. Once again, looks like he knows that. Instead, I think he just sticks the bomb plant and lets the Phoenix pick up the trade kill, which the Phoenix does. He doesn't even need to peek there. So anyways, kind of a bad play by him, but it's good to note why that was a thing. So it's also good to note that, like I said, don't zone in too hard on your ability usage. That's you don't really want to be doing that too much. I think that's definitely a misplay. You have to throw that back over, but once again, I'm not going to be too nitpicky about his just missed abilities. That stuff will come with time. I think he actually even said he does not play Sage a lot, so at this point, they just have the site. I guess we could pay attention more to what happens. Does he get any kills? Yeah, this is an eco, so he's a little more okay with just taking blind fights. Oh no, okay, so that's why he does slow that. It cucks it screws over the Cypher bad. Is it worth it? I would say no, because it's gonna screw his teammates over a lot too. Well, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's worth it for one player. Maybe if this player has like a really good gun and they don't, sure, but I think it's pretty free that they get this trade. Because even if the Cypher didn't kill him, the Jet would have, or he would have. So I don't think it's worth to use that there, but you know. I now see why he was going for it. He actually did miss it, which is good. Yeah, then they end up just saving, so they just play the round out. That's fine, that's good. Notice how they're abusing their weak spots. They know that they have gotten hookah and long control every round, so they're going to keep doing it. Because sure, they're putting a lot of players towards here, which is going to cause early rotations, but since they have already the choke points, like, since they're in, that's good. Obviously, the breach ended up playing with an op here, which caught them off guard, probably. And that was a very bold peek by Jet. I think that was really bad, but I'm not watching her, so... Good pick by Mo there. He needs to stay alive once again because of his ult, so notice how he's playing back. Goes for the wall, that's good. Pretty easy post plant. Once again, they're saving their guns. They're going for hunting kills. That's good. Oh, wait, we missed a lot. I went way too fast. Okay. Oh wow, we missed quite a bit. Jeez. Once again, if we're gonna go the B push, and I think this is where the enemy, because notice how Hiko died there for a second, which we'll see. I guess we'll just go ahead and show it. Yeah, Hiko died here. So this is where and I think Brax should have maybe done this a little better too on his CT side. Notice how they realize how hard they're pushing B, and so the enemy Sage makes a play off that, and he goes for a really early pick here. And so if he doesn't get the kill, it's either really early information or, like I said, it leads to a kill, and that's exactly what happened. And then we'll watch what happens to the rest. I think he wants to go for this res, which is why we see him rotating out. Yeah, and because he rotated out, it's bad for Mo to push up solo here. And he dies. Earth Phoenix, I guess. Excuse me. It's just Mo's the one playing him. Yeah, I think he definitely wants to go for the res here, which is why we see him wall it. They slow it. I think this is good by him. They're not going to be expecting him up here. Okay. Yeah, so this was... this was like a decent peek. I actually think the idea was right, because notice how the Sage is not looking at him. She's looking this way. She ends up flicking to him right here. So like I said, I think this is, the idea is right. Or I don't want to say it's right, but the idea is not bad, because going for, like I said, a lot of things it seems like he wants to do is to catch people off guard and get free kills is good. But the fact that he has his revive is way more important here. So I think it's better for him to just take the, instead of taking the risky play, just go ahead and go straight for the guaranteed pickup. Because now they're down 2v5 where they could have been 4v5 where they put themselves in a good spot. So I like the idea, but I just don't think it was good there because, like I said, the fact he has his revive. Notice how he lets his entries go first, gets the free res off. Is confident that they won't repeak, which is why he's not holding up too much. So that's good by him. Throws in the slows, lets his entries get in. You just saw, oh no, he sees that over CT. This is a good little off angle, and then off angles, like I said, are good if you're in, if you have advantageous spots, because it's good. Off angles usually lead to free kills. Perfect example, and then that puts you guys in a better spot. So now he possibly has a chance to die here. Okay, so with the callouts, he didn't. So notice how, because he knows that they're in hookah, which is why we see him reposition like this, because the Rays could peek right here and potentially kill him, and none of his teammates are watching that right now. So he positions back to get the off angle. This is a good little double whammy. He gets the off angle peek on the Sage, which leads to a free kill, and now he's safe from the hookah player, which now he has to peek into her, goes for that kill, which is also good. So this is really, really good by him. Notice how he plays two different cards really well. Plays the off angle position, and he also plays the, oh shoot, I'm actually exposed from where one of the enemies are, let me reposition. Works out both ways. So yeah, really good by him right here. Important to note why this stuff is big. Keep skipping through these really quick. I forget how like the 10 seconds is not long at all. So I would say let the Viper peek here, but I'm assuming that she has his ultimate, which is why they want to keep her alive first. Okay, no, actually not. Maybe. Let's see. Let's just play the round out. I think we should do that first. Get a little off angle. Not too off angle. This is starting to become a relevant spot to play. Oh, missed his taps. Okay, let's see. Back up. I say 4v4 here. Whatever happened doesn't matter too much. I think it's actually why the Rays is pushed up here, because they died. Since these players have been pushing B, so this is good by them actually, if they're doing this for the reason I think. Since they've been pushing B so hard, they decide to go lurk the bomb towards bathrooms. And they do that because it's going to pull rotations out of these. It's either going to rotate the players off of A towards B, or they're going to get antsy and push up. And that's why they only put the bomb in one other player towards A, because it's going to pull so much pressure to B because they've gone there so much. Yo, hey, they're definitely going to go B. Either, like I said, push for info or let's rotate. And that's what happens. And so the Rays gets caught off guard, which is probably why she doesn't miss any bullets. Notice that she was not pre-aiming him at all. And so, yeah, she just gets completely caught off guard, which leads to a free sight. Viper pops her thing. Sage walls it off. He needs to work on this wall because he ends up dying because of it. So this is smart. It is risky if they don't rotate over, but because they've gone B so much, I think it's good. It should be pretty obvious. Plus, with the teleporters in the map, it's pretty free. Yeah. Like I said, I do like this angle. I think this is fine, but this is just a bad wall. He just needs to correct that better. I'm not going to say too much about this. So, yeah, like I said, really smart round by them. I've done this stuff before too in my games. And it's easy. It's even easier to throw at like not like pro level. This is this is super high elo. This is like as high as it gets right now, effectively. And I'm not quite at that point yet. And you can still pull this stuff up in your games. It's really easy. Like if I'm ever playing Brimstone, I'd really like to go to a site with like a Phoenix and then smoke 3 things off and ult back site. And it pulls everybody off of the other site and it's free. And so that's kind of what they did here, just in a little bit different manner. Obviously, they didn't do it with the other stuff. He should let Jet peek here. But I don't think I'm not gonna be too nitpicky. Yeah, he should definitely let the Jet peek a lot of these angles so he can stay alive because of his wall and all that stuff. At this point, they're just terrified of them, so they're just not holding the angles, which I think is bad by the enemy team, which is why they're probably losing these rounds. Notice I think he walled CT, so he's able to post up on this angle. Kind of an off angle because technically you don't want to have yourself exposed to back elbow, but because it's walled, it's fine. And so he's able to put himself there. I think he held this too tight. So the way the angles, the way Peeker's advantage and that sort of stuff, not even Peeker's advantage, the way holding an angle works in this map, the closer you are, here, we'll do it here. The closer you are to an object, the quicker you're exposed, I should say. So, and same thing for the other way. If you're the further back you are from an object, you're not exposed as quick. I'll try and find a picture that I can pull up and put on the screen to explain what I'm saying. But essentially, the further back you are from an angle, you won't get seen as quickly, which is why the Brimstone here actually just sees him. Like the Brimstone is barely peaked, and notice how he just preempts him instantly. And so that's kind of what happened there. Like I said, I'll show the picture on screen. My words aren't putting it into good perspective. You'll see what I mean whenever I post a picture or pull it up, and that'll put this into perspective. So I think he just needs to hold back further here. Hold, like literally just back up like 3 steps, and then he would have been fine. I don't think he actually would have gotten the kill. Which is why, like I said, he ended up dying there, so. Juicy game, really long, Jesus. Once again, I think they're just going back. Not once again, but now they're just going back to their B push. It's just worked really well. Have the Jet entry. Good pick by him. That's a really, really big. Also big. He ends up dying for it, but it kind of catches the Brimstone off guard. Or not the Brimstone, the Breach off guard, excuse me. Because the Breach is probably like, there's no way he's holding this. Even though he was holding it and he gets the free kill. Plus he just kind of misses a shot, so. Yeah, I think overall that's good. Let's see what happens. They end up losing the game. So I want to actually go on the limp here and say this is bad, and that's because this is a little more nitpicky. Notice he's 3 ult points away. He gets this 1 kill. Okay, actually, never mind. So what I was going to say is basically he can get 2 more kills, which would get him his ult. I actually didn't realize. I actually forgot that whenever you die, you get an ult point. So we got the kill here and died. That's 1 ult point. That's the last one. Now he has it. So he would actually have to get 2 more kills after this one on Cypher. He'd have to get 2 more to have his ult. So this is fine. Should he have not peeked this? Maybe, but he went for it because he trusted his aim and it got them the sight. So this was good. And then the rest of the stuff is just a lot of team misplays. So yeah, overall, I think that the big things that he does really well, and also I think he just needs to do it. He just needs to refine it more. Is the way he plays like off angles and the way he tries to catch these people out off guard. I think he relies on it too much, and it gets him put in some really, really bad spots, and it makes him not think about the really smart play at the end of the day. That's just one of the big things we noticed. But I think the really important things to point out here is how he plays this stuff. And you can see how it does work out, how it doesn't. Also, his crosshair placement, which is really, really good. I think his crosshair placement is some of the best. And we pointed out a lot of different things here. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to go over. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's a lot of stuff in this game that maybe not so much this game, but I think I'll go back and point out some stuff that I noticed here, look for in other games, and notice why these things are so big. And I can release basically shorter, like 8 to 10 minute videos on just some plays and how they can win you some rounds. So yeah. So like I said, some of that stuff I noticed in this VOD, and it'd be fun to point out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like this kind of stuff, let me know down in the comments below. And you guys have a good day.